In her eyes, something's off.
She looked like a soldier.
Something's off with her.
No, it's good.
In a move that has rocked both Hollywood insiders and online fandoms, podcast giant Joe Rogan has gone viral for his brutal takedown of actress Bella Ramsey following her reported removal from HBO's The Last of Us Season 3. Known for his blunt, unfiltered commentary, Rogan took direct aim at Ramsey's recent controversies during a segment on his widely watched podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. The viral clip shows Rogan openly mocking Bella's emotional livestream, questioning her professionalism, and criticizing her apparent sense of entitlement toward the character of Ellie. "You're not Ellie," he said. "You were just cast to play her." That single line sparked an internet wildfire, triggering millions of views and reactions across social platforms.
Ellie still looks and acts like a 14-year-old from season 1, even though she's supposed to be 19.
Rogan's criticism struck a nerve not only with fans who felt Ramsey had overstepped, but also with industry veterans who quietly agreed. The segment was short, sharp, and devastating, and it set the tone for what many are now calling Bella Ramsey's Hollywood downfall. As Rogan's comments continue to trend, they've reignited debates around fame, entitlement, and whether young stars can truly handle the spotlight. But the real question is, how did Ramsey go from fan favorite to industry pariah in just 1 year? This story isn't just about an actor losing a role. It's about how quickly the entertainment world can turn on one of its own, especially when someone like Joe Rogan steps into the ring. Bella Ramsey's rise to fame was nothing short of meteoric. At just 13 years old, she won critical acclaim for her role as the fierce Lyanna Mormont in HBO's Game of Thrones, commanding scenes alongside industry giants. When HBO announced she would take on the coveted role of Ellie in the Last of Us adaptation, the internet exploded with support. Season 1 of the show debuted to critical acclaim. Ramsey's portrayal of Ellie was seen as intense, emotionally nuanced, and different, but in a way that worked. Fans praised her vulnerability and grit, while HBO pushed her into the spotlight with interviews, promotional campaigns, and awards season appearances. For a while, Bella Ramsey looked like she was on track to become one of the defining faces of Gen Z Hollywood. But as her star rose, so too did the pressure. And that's when things started to change.
I'm sorry. That was acting. That's what that was. I don't really care what happens with this movie. I really hope her career is pretty much over. I'd be thrilled to see that.
It wasn't long before her confident voice became something else entirely in the public eye, polarizing, unfiltered, and eventually controversial. What started as a young star embracing her breakout role would soon spiral into a wave of backlash that no one, not even HBO, was prepared to handle. As season 1 faded into the rearview, Bella Ramsey began to take a more vocal role in discussing her portrayal of Ellie. In a series of interviews, podcast appearances, and live panels, she began offering her own takes on the direction of the character, the narrative structure of the show, and even the source material itself. While confidence in a creative space is often celebrated, many fans and insiders felt her tone began to veer into arrogance. Ramsey publicly criticized the original Last of Us game, calling certain elements outdated and suggesting that fans who preferred the original Ellie were afraid of change.
Joel, I think I found something.
Whoa!
What?
Yeah, nothing. It's just your forehead seems bigger than last season.
She pushed for creative changes to Ellie's arc, reportedly demanding script revisions and challenging direction. While some applauded her passion, others began questioning her sense of ownership. Reddit forums, Twitter threads, and YouTube videos began surfacing, calling her out for seemingly trying to rewrite Ellie into a personal project rather than respecting the character's established identity. The sentiment shifted. This wasn't just a passionate actor, it was someone critics claimed was stepping outside her lane. Fans who once defended her performance began to turn, especially as her comments clashed with the emotional attachment many held for the original game. And in the entertainment industry, when the fans start to turn, the studios often follow.
Like most people, I liked the first season. I thought they did a great job. Season 2, I was skeptical on them not recasting Ellie and keeping Bella Ramsey as Ellie because it's supposed to take place 5 years into the future, but obviously Bella Ramsey in real life was not going to age that much in, the 2 years it took between seasons.
When The Last of Us Season 2 finally aired, the criticism intensified. The storyline took place 5 years after the events of Season 1, but viewers were quick to notice that Ellie, as portrayed by Ramsey, appeared physically and emotionally unchanged. This creative decision drew immediate backlash. Commentators noted that Bella, who had not aged significantly since the first season, looked too young to convincingly portray a 19-year-old Ellie. More than that, her character's development was questioned. Ellie's demeanor was described as erratic and inconsistent, and her once sharp instincts were replaced with moments of bizarre dialogue and self-deprecating confusion. Viewers circulated clips where Ellie calls herself stupid, prompting many to wonder what had happened to the nuanced character they once admired.
Last of Us Season 2 is out. Episode 4 is the latest, and it is bombing.
Ramsey's performance was labeled flat by some, while others blamed the writing. But many critics returned to Bella's reported creative control as a key issue. YouTube channels and podcasts began accusing her of hijacking the narrative. In short, fans felt like they had lost Ellie, and many blamed Ramsey. The cracks were no longer rumors. They were front and center, and fans weren't quiet about it. When Joe Rogan weighed in, it wasn't subtle. On his podcast, Rogan didn't mince words. Referring to Bella's recent behavior, he asked, "Oh, what happened to that girl?" with visible frustration. The conversation escalated quickly. He compared Ramsey to stars who got famous for 5 minutes and thought they invented the industry, and mocked her for thinking HBO owed her the franchise. But what stood out most was his commentary on her now infamous livestream, where she broke down in tears after learning she was allegedly cut from The Last of Us Season 3.
Caitlin has been nothing but supportive of me being Ellie, as I have with her being Abby. I was so excited when I found out that she was cast as Abby. I thought it was so genius because of, her involvement in The Last of Us film when that was going to happen.
Rogan described the emotional outburst as cringe, adding that going live to cry was not the mark of a professional. "You were cast to play Ellie," he said. "You didn't create her. You're not entitled to rewrite her." His guest laughed, adding, "The real Ellie is the one from the game." That remark got clipped and shared widely, reinforcing the idea that Bella had overstepped. The podcast wasn't just harsh, it was widely seen as a public takedown. And in the Rogan universe, that kind of segment doesn't go away. It multiplies. Once Rogan's remarks went live, the internet lit up. TikTok was flooded with reaction videos and stitch edits mocking Bella's live stream with Rogan's voiceover. Twitter threads praised Rogan for saying what everyone was thinking.
The Last of Us was plagued by complaints of bad casting, and The Last of Us 2 is not faring much better.
On YouTube, new commentary videos broke down the segment, treating it like a moment of truth in the saga. Bella became the subject of endless memes, some depicting her crying, others highlighting her past interviews, and all painting the same picture, a young star who lost control. Ironically, many who hadn't even watched The Last of Us tuned in just to witness the controversy. As with most viral moments, once the momentum started, it was unstoppable. And while some fans tried to defend Ramsey, they were quickly drowned out by the sheer volume of criticism. For many, Joe Rogan hadn't just roasted her, he had exposed what they believed was the root of the show's problems. The spectacle grew by the hour, and Bella Ramsey's image, once associated with fierce roles and bold acting, was now associated with public breakdowns, backstage drama, and a podcast takedown heard around the world.
How has your own personal journey changed since the start of the show?
It's changed a lot. I feel like I really grew up during the first season and then again the second season. With everything that comes along with it, like having to do press and travel around and get on flights on my own and stuff.
Amid the growing chaos, HBO's silence spoke volumes. The network made no attempt to defend Ramsey. No statements were issued, no executives weighed in. While fans flooded social media with questions and criticisms, HBO stayed entirely out of the spotlight. This lack of support added weight to growing insider leaks, suggesting that Ramsey had become a point of contention during production. According to unnamed crew members and production assistants, Bella had clashed with directors over dialogue and refused to deliver certain lines she didn't agree with. One leak alleged that some scenes were even filmed without her knowledge as a contingency plan in case the studio decided to move on. These claims, whether fully accurate or not, spread like wildfire once Rogan's segment dropped. They painted a portrait of an actress who had not only lost the goodwill of fans, but also the confidence of the studio backing her. Without HBO in her corner, Ramsey stood alone. And in the entertainment business, silence from your own team is often louder than any public statement. Perhaps the most telling development came from Bella's once supportive co-star, Pedro Pascal. Known for his warmth and professionalism, Pascal had publicly praised Bella during Season 1 press tours, calling her a revelation and a joy to work with. But as Season 2 aired and controversies mounted, fans noticed a shift. During a major interview promoting a separate project, Pascal was asked directly about Ramsey and visibly dodged the question. He quickly pivoted to talk about the show in general, avoiding her name entirely. Online sleuths quickly compiled clips of Pascal doing the same in other appearances, sparking speculation that the relationship between the two had soured. One reported set leak suggested Pascal had grown tired of Ramsey's behavior, allegedly telling a colleague, "She made everything about her. I just wanted to finish the show." Other cast members reportedly followed suit, subtly removing mentions of her from promotional posts and photos. For fans paying close attention, the message was clear. Bella Ramsey was being iced out, not just by the studio, but by her fellow stars. And that's often the final red flag before a star falls.
You sharing your autism diagnosis, I think, is going to help a lot of people. I mean, how do you feel about it, and why was it important for you to share that?
I feel great about it.
Yeah.
It's just like fun, and I was just saying down there, it's like I can now
it's a way that people like will see like, why is Bella being a bit weird? Like now they get why.
In the wake of the viral firestorm, Bella Ramsey disappeared from the public eye. Her social media accounts went silent. No new tweets, no Instagram stories, no interviews, no panel appearances. The live stream that had sparked Rogan's wrath was scrubbed. At a moment when many expected a fiery comeback, or at least a public defense, Ramsey gave them nothing. And strangely enough, it may have been the most strategic move she's made. PR experts say that in today's cancel culture environment, disappearing is often safer than attempting to salvage the narrative. But the damage had already been done. Her silence wasn't seen as strength, it was seen as defeat. And for her critics, that silence was confirmation that Rogan had hit a nerve. The disappearance only fueled the narrative that Ramsey had been humbled by the very industry that once embraced her. Whether it was a calculated decision or the result of emotional exhaustion, her digital vanishing act made one thing clear. The Bella Ramsey the world had come to know had left the stage, perhaps for good. Bella Ramsey's journey from breakout star to cultural punching bag is one of the fastest Hollywood spirals in recent memory. In the span of less than a year, she went from the fresh new face of a billion-dollar franchise to a meme, a headline, and a warning. And at the center of that downfall stands Joe Rogan, whose candid commentary crystallized what many fans had already been whispering, that fame, entitlement, and creative control don't mix well, especially when they clash with deeply beloved IP. His takedown wasn't just about Bella, it was about a trend in Hollywood where actors forget they are part of the story, not the story itself. Rogan's parting shot summed it up. You're not Ellie. You were just playing her. That line now echoes across Reddit, TikTok, and entertainment blogs as a symbol of what happens when a rising star believes the hype and forgets the fans who put them there. Bella's story may not be over, but the chapter marked Ellie is likely closed for good. And for Hollywood, it's a reminder that in an age of instant fame, the fall is just as fast as the rise.